All right, everybody, we are live. Hello, hello, hello. It's Alan Davidson, and Denise Simpson is working with me today. And welcome to our Mystic Badass Resistance Breakthrough 7-Day Meditation Challenge. And so this is session number 1, and we're going to just dive right in. And I'm going to help set this up for us and sort of take a little longer today just to sort of give a little bigger overview. Hopefully that'll only be 10-15 minutes. And then we're going to move right into working with resistance and tapping with our resistance. So welcome, everybody. Great that you're here. So happy. And let's get going. So a lot of you are new to me. And I just want to say that I'm thrilled to be here. I've been a body worker for over 30 years, and I taught massage for 10 years. I led a weekly meditation group here in Houston, Texas for 16 years. So from March of 2000 to October of 2016, and then my travel schedule got crazy, and I just couldn't keep the weekly obligation part to the group. And I'm the author of Body Brilliance, Mastering Your 5 Vital Intelligences, which was a #1 health and wellness bestseller. And the year it came out, won 2 National Book of the Year awards. So that's sort of what gives me sort of the experience to share not only meditation, but our resistance to it and how to creatively, skillfully work with that resistance. So I'm also the founder of Evolutionary Mystic Meditation. And what we're doing here really is sort of the light version of that. And you'll get an experience of it in a few minutes. So our rules for our Resistance Breakthrough 7-Day Challenge are real simple. Step 1, it really is just to commit for the next 7 days to meditate for 20 minutes or more, twice a day, for 7 days. You can use any kind of meditation you like. I will be posting a meditation later today on it's really a body sensory meditation. But any kind of meditation that you've done, any form is fine for our purposes. What we want to do is to notice the resistance that comes up to your commitment to meditate twice a day. And that resistance can take on a number of forms. It can be a physical sensation in the body, a tightness, a heaviness, heat, coolness, butterflies. It can be thoughts chattering in your mind. It can be emotions. It can even feel like something outside of your body, like pressing you or holding you back or tying you down, that sense of those experiences. And we want to notice those because we can skillfully work with them to help release the tension and release the hold, so that we then have that place of openness and hopefully joyfulness and ease in moving into then sitting in meditation. So I just want to take a few minutes to set that up. And I know that everyone here in this challenge is a spiritual seeker. You're using spiritual tools. You're looking for spiritual solutions to help solve not only the problems in your own life, but probably the problems in the world. And I think in terms of stages and moving through stages. And so the first stage of moving from a spiritual seeker to a mystic badass is really to become a spiritual badass. And that's stage 1 of the process. And there's a whole mystics evolutionary journey that I will spare you today. But and the goal is that the center of the center, that still point in the center, to be that mystic badass, from that most enlightened, most embodied, most fabulous, most joyful part of your soul, showing up in the world, doing your work in the world, doing the work that needs to be done. So I just want to start with all of us saying resistance is the team of selves or parts, their habits, their attitudes, and their reflexive responses that control and manage your fears, get your needs met, and to protect you by keeping you out of harm's way. So I want to just say that again. I define resistance as the team of selves, the group or parts within you, their habits, their particular attitudes, and the reflexive responses and how they react to the world that are designed to control and manage fear and anxiety, to get your basic needs met, and to protect you, if possible, by keeping you out of harm's way. It's a very big, important job. And that sense of resistance, that whole collective team, is what keeps us playing small in what I call that comfort cocoon, that safety cocoon. And so there are three important elements of being a spiritual badass, three practices that I use. And one is recenter your power. And that comes out of my many years of Tai Chi and Aikido and martial arts practice. And we're going to actually experience recentering in a few minutes. So recentering your power is one. Recharging your vital energies. And this is the idea that we have a physical, emotional, mental, moral, and spiritual sort of aspects of our being. And each one of those are qualities of energy. Our physical self requires and needs physical energy, and to rest and restore so that we can recharge our physical energy. Our emotional self requires us to rest and restore our emotions. Our mental self means for us to rest and restore our mental expenditure. And a lot of us are overthinkers. And so we definitely need to rest and restore. If you're a chronic worrier, you know what I'm talking about. Our moral intelligence really is about our willpower and our ability to discern and to make choices. And do we make conscious choices, or are those choices unconscious? And then there's our spiritual intelligence, our spiritual energy. And again, all of these are different qualities of energy. And to be at our fully functioning, healthy, happy human self, we need all five of these energies available to us. And so I'll explain more about that later in the week, but I just wanted to give you a sense. And meditation at one level is really about focusing and directing the mind. So it is one way to rest and restore the mind and our mental energy. And then depending on what kind of meditations you do, it can also be very much around the spiritual energy of resting and restoring our spiritual energies. So meditation are the skills that are really helpful. And if you do Tai Chi or yoga or something like that, it can even be a very important part of restoring your physical energies. But we'll unpack that more as we go through. Now, more relevant to what we're doing in the 7-day challenge, I call it reset. There's recentering, recharging, and reset. Reset to your higher self. And I use the analogy of a boarding house to talk about all the different parts and multiple parts that live within us. So I just want to share, each of us is made up of many selves or subpersonalities. These selves are the building blocks of the psyche. And psyche is the Greek word for soul, by the way. Each self is an independent unit or personality. Each of these selves is like an actual person living inside of us. Each has its own history, its own way of looking at life, and each has its own way of living in the world. How you will behave in any particular situation will depend upon the self that is in charge at the moment. I want to read that again. How you will behave react or respond in any particular situation will depend upon the self that is in charge at the moment. And the easiest way to think about that is, are the parts of me that are driven by fear and anxiety in charge? Are they driving the bus? Are they in the spotlight? Or are the parts of me that are connected to love and divine love and infinite peace, are those the ones that are in charge of making it? So the simplest way of resetting is really as like, oh, if I notice myself, you know, reacting and responding from fear, it's like, can I consciously, intentionally reset and shift back into my higher self, reset into a more loving, a more conscious, a more aware, a more present self. And so that's a lot of what we're going to be doing in this challenge over the next 7 days. And so I just want to give you a broad sense of how I think of the boarding house. I think of it as 4 levels. The penthouse, the top suite, is our soul team. And those are the parts of us that are really dedicated to the evolution of our soul, of achieving the goals that our soul set for us in this particular life, in this incarnation, and connecting us to the infinite and the eternal and the divine aspects of being. The second story is our success team. They're the parts of us that want us to thrive and succeed, the parts of us that really help to cultivate what are our gifts and our talents and our strengths, and how we move into flow states when we, exercise those gifts and talents and strengths. Positive emotions, loving relationships, achievement, the parts of us that really are focused on meaning and purpose and living that meaning and purpose in the world. The ground floor is really, that's our persona, our modus operandi. It's like, oh, who's sort of in charge, driving the bus, in the spotlight, at the microphone? What is that self that is in charge at the moment? And you'll notice that we have habitual favorites, whether they're defensive or whether they're from our survival team or our soul team. And in the basement is the metaphor that I use for team survival, for defense. And that's where resistance and all the voices of resistance live, are in the basement. So if you just maybe enter into the Facebook comments, does this make sense to you? Do you have a sense of this, that you have a group or a team of resistance? And I think of resistance as the 5-star general of your survival team. It is the one that is directing as much as it can, very powerfully, very strongly, to keep you safe and out of harm's way, to get your basic needs met, and to manage not only your fears and anxiety, but all of the negative emotions that can overwhelm you. Now, I think about the resistance as the 5-star general, but the general has some lieutenants. And procrastination and the way that we avoid things and distract ourselves from things, rather than doing our meditation or our basic rituals, whether those rituals are to move more or to eat less or eat better or meditate more or make more conscious choices, whatever our rituals are that we know that are going to move our evolution forward, do we delay them? Do we procrastinate with them? Another one is judgment. And those are the resentments that we have, that we've judged somebody, something, or someone, and we're holding on to that resentment. The inner critic is really that self-doubt that has run amok. And I know some people who have completely been hijacked, and the inner critic is actually the one that's driving the bus, that's there on the ground floor in the spotlight. Overwhelm is another lieutenant, and that's that sense of confusion, negativity. That includes the voices of pessimism and skepticism and why bother, and it's not going to make any difference anyway. And then there is sabotage, the voice of sabotage. When all else fails, the general taps on sabotage, and it's like, okay, we're going for the nuclear option here. We're going to blow it up. So as we go through our 7-day challenge, we're going to work with some of these parts and some other parts to see which ones, which form your resistance particularly takes. And we're going to do a little tapping, a little working with them to create a little more space in your body, a little more space in your heart, a little more space in your mind, and a little more space in your soul, so that you can move to our goal, the meditation, from a place of commitment and ideally joy and pleasure in the meditation. So how does that sound? Enter something into the Facebook chat there if you're comfortable. So the way that we're going to do this is a little inner parts work, and then tapping or emotional freedom technique. And these are very, very light forms and applications. I do want to talk about the distinction between, doing some, basic, simple work with resistance versus deep shadow work. In our challenge today, this is not really intended to be deep shadow work, although some of these voices of procrastination or judgment or the inner critic or overwhelm or negativity or sabotage can be very, very strong and powerful shadows that control us from the unconscious mind and from the basement of our psyches. But this is we're going to use a very simple, light way to work. And so Denise is going to be my partner in just a minute. She's going to be all of our spokesperson and work with me. But we will be working through this collectively as a group. So notice as you think in terms of our meditation and our commitment to meditate for 20 minutes or more, twice a day for 7 days, we're going to notice resistance. Again, physical sensations, particular thoughts or stories in the mind, particular emotions, or even something that can be outside of the body. And that's how we begin to work and ask that part of us some questions, and then begin to tap with that part. So that's sort of the introduction and setup. I thank you for the luxury and liberty. We're going to move into really working with procrastination today, and we're going to move into some dialogue and some tapping right now. So there you go, Miss Denise. You want to add anything to what we've just done as the introduction before we actually move into working with procrastination?
Well, I think it's so important to do this work so that we are able to achieve the goals of our heart's desires, build our businesses, improve our relationships. This work, the 7-day challenge, I'm so excited about it because it can have such a huge impact on people and really move things along, get some traction and momentum. So I'm excited. Yes, it's a little challenging sometimes, but it's so worthwhile.
Well, it's like, meditate for 40 minutes a day, or gee, I might have to cut out an hour of my Netflix, indulgence in the evenings or something. So it's like, that's a form of the resistance. So great. All right. And great, I see some comments here. Thanks for people live. Wonderful. Georgia says, makes total sense. Thank you. And Tanya says, yes, procrastination number 1 and inner critic number 2. Girl, you're in good company here. And Ty says, I have all of those. Okay, great. All right. So Now, I know some of you are watching live. Great, fantastic, thank you. And a lot of people are going to be watching the replay of this. And so we're going to use, again, a very simple approach to parts work. Those of you who know evolutionary mystic meditation have worked with me before. You know there's a much deeper and thorough way that we work. This is designed to help people at all levels. You know, people who don't have a meditation practice at all, and I know some of you have a deep, deep meditation practice. And it's also designed to help people that maybe don't know a lot about parts work or don't know much about tapping. So again, it's just a very simple approach, but do not mistake simplicity for how profoundly this work can really help shift and open some things for you. So, everyone, I want you to just take a moment and we're going to sense the body. So rubbing the hands together. When we talk about sensations, we know about the 5 sensations. We know about smell and taste and sight and sound. But particularly in meditation and particularly in parts work, we think about the sensations of touch. And so we think about movement. Movement is one of the primary sensations of touch. And then we think of in terms of pressure. You know, is the pressure light or is the pressure more firm? And then we think in terms of temperature. So if you rest the palms, you might feel some warmth. I can feel the warmth in my palms, but I can feel coolness on the back of my fingers. And then pain is the 4th quality in the sensation of touch. So, you know, you might have some pronounced sense of pain in the body. So, movement, pressure, temperature, and then pain. So, and now I want you to take your thumbs and bring them to your navel. And this is actually in a keto centering exercise. So bring the thumbs into that belly button and let the palms rest just about 2 inches below your navel. And this is your hara in Japanese. It is your dantian in Chinese, your 2nd chakra in the yogic traditions. And now we're going to just center side to side. So leaning to one side. And noticing the sensations of your body as you recenter. And just take a breath. And now recentering to the other side. Leaning. And now sensing your body off center. And now come back. Recentering side to side. And now leaning forward, I'm going to recenter front and back, sensing the back muscles that are really working to keep you from falling forward. And now recenter, and now recentering back. And now maybe sensing that stretch of the abdominal muscles through the front of your body. And now recentering, front and back. And to recenter up and down, just start with tightening the muscles of your toes and your feet and your ankles and just squeezing the bones, squeezing the shins, squeezing the thighs, the pelvic bowl, the belly, the diaphragm, the chest, the arms, the wrist, the soft fist, jaws, eyes, scalp, and just really sense that contraction, that tightness, and being off center. And when you're ready, just completely drop and recentering up and down. And just put those palms back on your belly for a moment. Now, when you do this a number of times, you get really quick and really skilled, and you can just do it in a matter of seconds. But this of just sensing your body and recentering your body is really one way to come back into your power. And I'll be doing some demonstrations in a few months with my Tai Chi master about how really moving from your center and from your center of power makes you like an unshakable mountain. So it's a great place just to sort of be in your day. And if I'm at the grocery store, if I'm at a traffic light and I notice myself off center, I'll just side to side, front and back, up and down. Okay, so now that we're sort of in our bodies and in our center, Denise, you ready to dive in?
I am. And I love centering when I'm pumping gas at the gas station.
Well, and you spend a lot of time with your nephew. So, particularly when you're with kids,
Yes.
Great place to recenter into your power and be present with, these really important, intimate relationships in your life.
Absolutely. That way I can stay more patient with them, calmer, and definitely more present with them, more engaged instead of being, not paying attention.
Right.
Good point.
And for those of you that are listening, if you just enter into the Facebook comments, what do you sense? What do you notice just from being centered in your body? Let us know. Okay, so now I'm going to be dialoguing directly with Denise, but I want every single one of you that is watching this to, this is part of the meditation, and this is where it starts to get real. So, Denise, I want you just to take a moment, and from this place of presence and being centered, can you turn your attention to your body, your being, and can you sense that part of you that is the procrastinator?
Yes, I feel that in my stomach. There's a clenching in my stomach, and like the energy dropped. And there's also some, and I think the shoulders, there's that defensive posture of, I will not do that.
Okay, great. And now how you experience the procrastinator is going to be unique to everybody that I ask this question to. So Denise is just talking about that contraction in the stomach and in the shoulders. So it's like, oh, okay, all right. So,
and I also sense the head, like the spinning thoughts in the head. Like the mind doesn't want to come into the body. The mind just wants to keep, being crazy busy with the thoughts. That's the other part of procrastination.
Right. I always like that image of sort of a hamster on the wheel. It's just the brain is just spinning and spinning and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. Okay, great.
Yep.
Great. All right. So now that you have a sense of the procrastinator in your body, I want you to now imagine yourself doing your next meditation today. And is the procrastinator resisting in any way?
Yes. It's that why bother? Why spend the time?
Mm-hmm.
I've got too much to do on the to-do list. What's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Is coming up.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
It's not going to make any difference.
Yeah, might not make any difference, but part of me knows it does make a difference. I've been doing this, so absolutely. But the other part is nope, because then I'd have to actually work on the important things. And no, we don't want to go there. Oh, that's a big awareness.
Right. So the procrastination part doesn't want you to work on the important things.
Right. Work on the business, work on success.
Yeah. We get clarity about what really needs to be done.
Yeah, because I'm starting a big project that I got clarity on over the weekend. So who am I to be tackling that? Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
great. All right. And so, particularly when you think of meditating and the resistance to meditating, where are you sensing that in the body?
That's still in the lower stomach. It's just that pit of the stomach feeling. The bottom drops out.
Okay, great.
There's no energy. There's no energy that wants to meditate, I would say.
Okay, great. Great. All right. And if you were to rate that on from 0 to 10, 10 being the most resistant, the most, and 0 being completely at ease and at peace with it, how would you rate that sense of procrastination in the pit of your stomach?
It's about an 8 or a 9 right now. It's pretty strong.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to start some tapping, and I'm going to use some things that Denise has said, some things that from my own experience, and things that I've heard with clients over the years. Now, a lot of people in this challenge know tapping and love tapping, and that's perfect. And so you use whatever tapping points that you love. If you like the short form, fantastic. Use it. If you have other different points that you want to use, by all means, use the points that you love. I'm going to keep it really, really simple, and I'm just going to use the heel of the hand point for tapping to get us started. So, Denise, you can use any points that you want.
Okay.
And this works best is I'm going to say something, and Denise is going to repeat it. Now, if you can, wherever you are in Facebook land or YouTube land, then you repeat it out loud if you can. And you get the best results when you do that. I recognize
that
there's a part of me
that
resists meditating. That's just a part of me.
It's just a part of me.
Working very hard to protect me. It's been working very hard for a long time. Procrastination. Delay and deflect. If I can just put it off a little longer. I can get through the day. I can just worry about it tomorrow. I can play my Scarlett O'Hara. Why do today what you can do tomorrow? Procrastination. Been around a long time.
It's been around a long time.
I've been really good at procrastinating. Boy, I can just go down the rabbit hole.
Oh boy, can I just go down the rabbit hole.
On YouTube.
Netflix.
Social media.
Oh,
instead of meditating, I'm going to go reorganize my kitchen cupboards.
Yep, and instead of meditating, I'm just going to go and reorganize my kitchen cupboards.
101 good reasons.
101 good reasons.
Not to meditate.
I
love procrastinating.
I'm
really good at it. And everyone just take a moment, shake that out. Take a breath and just notice where you had sensed procrastination, resistance of procrastination in your body before, and just notice any shifts, notice any changes or not.
There's a yawn.
Mm-hmm. All right. And what do you sense in your belly now?
It's down to about a 6. It feels lighter. It feels like the energy is moving upward. The shoulders are definitely looser. There's not as much weight on the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And the head is starting to calm down. spinning thoughts are not as volatile.
Okay, great.
Strong.
And so for those of you watching, again, what do you sense? What do you notice? Enter that in the chat, please, in the comments. And okay, let's do a little more tapping. I recognize
that
there's a part of me that really resists meditating.
Like,
why bother? I've got so much to do. I am busy. Who has time for meditation?
Who has time for meditation?
Time for all those spiritual practices.
I
can delay that. But later.
I'll do it later.
Do it tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow.
I'm procrastination.
I am procrastination.
And I recognize
that
there's another part that really wants to get things done.
That really does want to get things done.
Really wants to succeed in life.
Oh, that really wants to succeed in life.
And meditation is an important skill.
And meditation is an important skill.
That helps the self succeed. I realize there's a part. That is really committed to setting goals. To setting boundaries with love and courage. And there's a part of me. That realizes that I need rituals.
That realizes I do need rituals.
That I need spiritual practices.
That
will help me evolve.
That will help me evolve.
Help my soul evolve.
To help my soul evolve.
Help myself succeed.
To help myself succeed.
To thrive in the world. That helps me rest and restore. So I recognize there's a tension between these opposites.
Yeah, so I recognize there's a tension between these opposites.
The part of me that wants to procrastinate.
The part of me that wants to procrastinate.
And the part of me that wants to do things.
The part of me that wants to
meditate.
The part of me that wants to meditate.
The part of me that even loves to meditate. Take a breath and shake that out. And everyone just taking a breath. If you've got some water, it's a great time to have some water. And just now tuning into that part of your body where you were feeling that procrastination, that resistance. And what do you sense? What do you notice now? And Georgia says less tension in the back after that first round of tapping.
Excuse me. I'm noticing more yawns, which is great because that means there is an energy release. That constriction in the stomach is now opening, loosening. The stomach feels bigger, so there's expansion.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely more of a lighter, floatier feeling. And the mind is getting very calm. So, yeah, so that part all feels really good.
Okay. And do you feel any more procrastination?
There's maybe just like a little 1 or 2%. There's more of a sense of excitement and energy, and let's get into action. Let's get started.
Okay, great.
So there's more forward momentum.
Okay, great. And just for our purposes today, that 1%, 2% of resistance, where are you sensing that in your body?
I'm much more present to a pain in my left shoulder and neck, and I woke up with this, And I think because now we're calming down the head and calming down the stomach, the body is letting me know, like, hey, I'm here, pay attention to me. I don't think this has anything to do with procrastination. This is something I woke up with after a very busy weekend. So, but the fact that I can now hear my body and listen to this pain in my body means I need to put some TLC in there.
Yeah. So again, just going back to that 1%, 2% in the belly.
Let me tune into that. Yeah, I think the only thing there is I would need to prioritize and identify which goal to work on first to accomplish first.
And so ask that part, that little bit of resistance that's left, what's the danger if she actually takes the time to meditate?
Oh, she would get so clear on her goals, she'd make momentum, and she'd actually succeed.
So she'd have clarity.
She'd have clarity. Yeah, she could actually accomplish what she keeps talking about. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So tap with me.
Yes.
I recognize
that
there's still resistance.
That there's still some resistance.
And that there is the part of me that wants to procrastinate.
And there's the part of me that wants to procrastinate.
To deny and delay.
To deny and delay.
I don't have time to meditate.
I don't have time to meditate.
Look at my to-do list.
I've got my to-do list.
All the things I could be doing.
All the things I could be doing.
And I realize there's a part of me.
And I realize there's a part of me.
That's afraid to meditate.
That's afraid to meditate.
The self could get clear.
The self could get clear.
The self could sense clarity.
The self could actually sense clarity.
Feel clarity.
And feel clarity.
Mind could be clear.
The mind could be clear.
Soul could be certain.
The soul could be certain.
And the self could take action.
And the self could take action.
Instead of just thinking about things.
Instead of just thinking about things.
About talking about things.
And talking about things.
The self could act with certainty.
The self could act with certainty.
Clarity.
With clarity.
Meditation helps the self get clear.
Meditation helps the self get clear.
Helps the self to relax.
It helps the self to relax.
To sense the body.
To sense the body.
Feel the body.
To feel the body.
To understand the body.
To understand the body.
To receive the wisdom of the body.
To receive the wisdom of the body.
And I realize that resistance may not want that.
That resistance may not want that.
It may scare resistance.
It may scare resistance.
But it is the truth.
But it is the truth.
And that's why meditation.
And that's why meditation
has been around for thousands of years.
Has been around for thousands of years.
It calms the mind and body.
It calms the mind and body.
Brings clarity to the mind.
It brings clarity to the mind.
Deep relaxation to the body.
And deep relaxation to the body.
The emotions can settle.
The emotions can settle.
And the subtle insights of the soul.
And the subtle insights of the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Take a breath and shake that out.
Yeah, I could actually hear divine downloads. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. So Ty just typed in a really, really great question. It's like, what if I stop procrastinating and actually get the thing done, but then there's nothing better that comes in its place? And that's kind of back to that, oh, why bother?
Yeah.
skepticism, the pessimism. It's like, this is going to be as good as it gets.
Right. And that's such a question of the ego versus the soul being able to download an even bigger
Yeah.
vision for the self.
We got a few more minutes. So let's do one more round of tapping.
Okay.
I realize there's a part of me
I realize there's a part of me.
that just thinks this is as good as it's going to get.
Oh, excuse me. That just thinks this is as good as it's going to get.
So why bother?
So why bother?
Why put in the effort?
Why put in the effort?
Why put in all that work?
Why put in all that work?
It could be so disappointing.
Yeah, it could be so disappointing.
You know, it's just more of the same,
It's just more of the same,
going along to get along.
going along to get along.
The self has been so disappointed in the past.
The self has been so disappointed in the past.
So why take action?
So why take action?
Why make choices?
Why make choices?
It could just lead to more pain.
It could just lead to more pain. It's that nothing's ever going to change for me.
Nothing's ever going to change.
Right.
Same old, decade in, decade out.
Yep, same old, decade in, decade out.
But I realize that's only one part of me.
But I realize that's only one part of me.
I also realize there's other parts of me.
I also realize there are other parts of me.
Parts of me that are really skilled,
Parts of me that are really skilled,
that know how to be successful,
that know how to be successful,
that know how to take action,
that know how to take action.
even know how to take risks,
And those parts know how to take risks,
safe risks.
safe risks.
So there's the tension of the opposites.
So there's the tension of the opposites.
And when I can sit in the center,
And when I can sit in the center
feel the tension of those opposites,
and feel the tension of those opposites,
the part that wants to procrastinate,
the part that wants to procrastinate,
and the part that wants to honor my commitment
and the part that wants to honor my commitment
to meditate,
my commitment to meditate,
my commitment to evolve my soul,
my commitment to evolve my soul,
my commitment to thrive in the world.
my commitment to thrive in the world.
As powerful as resistance can be,
As powerful as resistance can be,
I can sit in the center between them
I can sit in the center between them
and choose wisely
and choose wisely
and just have that moment of deep relaxation.
and just have that moment, of deep relaxation,
Of breath,
of breath,
clarity,
of clarity,
of a soul alignment.
of soul alignment.
And from that sitting in the center,
And from that sitting in the center,
even if there's discomfort between the two differences,
even if there is discomfort between the two differences,
I can sit with uncertainty.
I can sit with uncertainty.
And from sitting with uncertainty,
And from sitting with uncertainty,
divine inspiration
divine inspiration
can guide me forward.
can guide me forward.
And I can commit to my rituals
And I can commit to my rituals
that will evolve my soul,
that will evolve my soul,
that will rest my body and heart,
that will rest my body and heart,
my mind and my will,
my mind and my will,
that will restore my body and heart
that will restore my body and heart
and restore my mind and my will,
and restore my mind and my will,
so that harmony
so that harmony
can be my truth.
can be my truth.
I can embrace procrastination,
I can embrace procrastination,
embrace resistance,
embrace resistance,
celebrate that they're trying to keep me safe,
and celebrate that they are trying to keep me safe,
and also harmonize the parts of me
and also harmonize the parts of me
that are wiser,
that are wiser
and have other protective skills.
and have other protective skills.
Maybe even enlightened protective skills
Ooh, maybe even an enlightened protective skills
that can keep me just as safe.
that could keep me just as safe.
Take a breath and shake that out. Just looking deep into yourself after the breathing and the tapping. And for those watching us live or watching the replay, entering into the comments, what do you sense? What do you notice? Ty says, thank you. And this one, is there any sort of shift or opening and just, I can sit for today and meditate. And what do you sense? What do you notice there?
Oh, my stomach feels so calm and open. My breath is coming down deeper. It's fuller. The head feels really calm. There's an excitement now. I want to go out in my garden and meditate and journal my ideas. And I really sense the energy flow. There's tingles in my hand and this very like floaty feeling all throughout my torso. So
Yeah.
it feels really good.
Yeah, great, fantastic.
Yeah.
So Ty says, I feel deeper breaths. I cried through that last round, I think. So beautiful, Ty. Thank you. And Georgia says, my partner is saying it's okay to work together. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Georgia said, I am still yawning. And you notice Denise has been yawning for, 20 minutes or so. So great. So, really the sort of short-term effect of the 7-day challenge is one to set a goal. It's like I'm going to meditate twice a day. And then to notice what's the resistance that the self throws up. Now, this is day 1. It's probably about day 3 when resistance is going to start getting sneaky and start throwing up the gauntlet. So just be aware of that. But it's really about how can I reconcile all the parts of me, the parts of me that live in the basement and are dedicated to safety and protection, and that part of me that lives in the world and wants to succeed and thrive in the world, and that part of me that has access to my soul's dharma and karma and higher self and ability to connect to the infinite and the eternal. And it really is about how do we harmonize all of them. The image that I showed of the boarding house, notice it looked very pristine and clean. And so many of, there are days when my basement doesn't look nearly as clean as that. And I've, had other people say, well, my boarding house isn't quite as nice and modern as that. So, but it's the process of how do we bring all of our parts, one, into awareness, into the light of the sun and consciousness and acceptance, and then begin to work with them and invite them to be part of the whole family. So Denise, you wanted to say something.
I did. So my awareness during that last round was also that the voice of resistance and that heavy stuck feeling that felt like, oh, that's just the way it is. By introducing that it's just a part and there's another part, I can, and it's the tension of opposites. Mm-hmm. And by sitting in the center, all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's the center. I could choose to be in resistance over there, or I could choose a different energy. I have some choices to move from center throughout my day. And that was an awareness that is like, oh, I'm not stuck. I don't have to be stuck over there with procrastination. It's like, it's just an energy state. It's just a voice. It's like come to center, and then I can move. So that's where the freedom comes in. So
Yeah.
that's where the lightness comes in. So that's what's energizing, because now it's like now I can move. It's
Yeah.
getting unstuck.
Yeah. And someone is just named Facebook user, I don't know who it is, says it's about choice, guided by meditation, which is
Yeah.
perfect.
Right.
And so, and that's the whole point of, resetting to my higher self. When I realize that I'm in a lower energy state, that I'm being dominated by, a form of resistance or negativity or procrastination or overwhelm or sabotage or the inner critic, whatever is, sort of running the show, it's like, oh, I can stop, I can recenter, I can take a breath, and I can choose to plug into, a part of my success team or my soul team. And it's like, oh, I can reset to love. I can reset to my higher self. So everyone, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you. And so just again, sensing the body, movement, pressure, temperature, and as Denise said, maybe even a little pain now that we're a little more aware of our bodies, and just bring those palms back to the center, to the hara. And just take a moment, recentering side to side, front to back, and recentering up and down. And just take a moment, looking deep after our, this is a form of tapping meditation, to be honest with you. This could count as your 20 minutes of sensing your body and being with your body. One of them, your first one for the day, maybe, or second. So Ty said, oh, she's feeling some sadness. Certainly that's one of the things that happens as we begin to relax and the body relax and energy begins to move. Energy that's been trapped in the body, stuck in the body, emotions, stories, energy begins to stir and move. And the invitation is, as much as possible, can I be centered? Can I be present and just breathe with that energy as it moves and actually help it move? So that's it for today. Working with procrastination, working with resistance. And we'll be back tomorrow at the same time, 12 noon Eastern time, and we'll work on another facet of resistance. So thank you for your time and your attention, and enjoy your meditations. Bye-bye. And thank you, Denise, for being a perfect partner today. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.